The idea for Basket Case came because the director was trying to think of movie titles that haven't been made up yet. When I think of a potential movie called Basket Case, I think of a padded room with a guy in a straitjacket. But thankfully, they went a different direction. A monster living in a basket. Things get started right away with an attack on this poor guy, which really does set the mood. Already we can tell that this is gonna be low budget, poorly acted,
Oh God, no! No!
and a cheesy rubber suit monster. But hold up before you turn off the movie. I smell greatness waiting. Also, this blood splatter is most definitely ketchup. I wonder if they had some fries off camera just waiting to be eaten. Now we meet Duane Bradley. That's a nice last name. He's wandering around New York looking for a place to stay, and he ends up stopping at the Hotel Broslin. The landlord here is my favorite character.
Get out of here! You're full of crap!
Anyway, it's $20 a night, and he's happy to have Duane as a customer, even though he's a little creeped out by the basket he's been carrying around. Duane pays for the room, which, interestingly, the director confirmed that this wad of cash right here was the film's entire budget. He meets his neighbors, mainly Josephine, who will talk your ear off and then just wander away, almost mid-sentence. And Casey, who seems to be a lady of the night, if you will. Duane settles in and gets some food, which he feeds to something in his basket. Whatever's in there is hungry. While it eats, Duane looks for a doctor named Cutter, and with no luck, he moves on to Dr. Needleman, who would know how to get their phone number. That night, while Duane sleeps, he's woken up by the monster in the basket. I guess they have some sort of psychic connection, and Duane can hear him telepathically.
For Christ's sake, shut up and let me get some sleep!
Either that or he's just nuts. The next day, he and his basket case go to visit Dr. Needleman, meeting with his secretary, Sharon, first. She's really nice and seems to have a thing for Duane, getting him right in to see the doc. While he waits a little bit, they get to talking, and she learns that this is his first time in New York City, and he hasn't had a chance to see the sights yet.
Haven't had the time.
That's when Sharon volunteers to be his tour guide to show him around. When Duane sees Needleman, he shows him this real nasty scar on the side of his body, but other than that, nothing really happens. Before leaving, Duane curiously sets the basket on the other side of the room, and then secretly makes plans to meet with Sharon tomorrow. To kill some time, Duncan takes the basket to see a kung fu movie, and this weirdo steals the basket while Duane takes a nap. And, well, I think he's gonna regret taking that basket. That night, after Needleman's secretary leaves, Duane sneaks back in, telling the monster to be sure to get the doctor's address book. It somehow rips the door off the hinges. I'm guessing it has super strength. The doctor hears this and looks around, afraid for his life. And he should be pretty scared because he's attacked by this freaky thing. Here we finally get to see the monster, and what can I say? Yeah, it's certainly weird looking. He's able to rip the guy in half and steal his address book. For a job well done, Duane feeds his friend a whole pack of hot dogs. Man, the guy can down some glizzies. He tells the basket case that he's heading out for a couple hours, and he even bought a TV for him to watch. What a nice guy.
Ta-da!
Duane actually sneaks over to the secretary, Sharon's house, for a little sightseeing. Yeah, that's what the kids call it nowadays, right? Well, remember that psychic connection the two have? The monster knows what Duane's doing, and he's not happy about it, going absolutely apeshit, tearing the room apart, which obviously gets the attention of all the nosy neighbors. By the time the landlord can open the door, it's gone, leaving only a ransacked room.
Looks like a god bomb hit this place.
O'Donovan does take notice of a giant wad of money laying on the floor, however, and once everyone clears out, he sneaks back in to steal it. Big mistake. Duane reacts to this and rushes home to see the cops are in his building. They talk to Duane, who's obviously suspect number one, but with no evidence and he has an alibi, there isn't much they can really do. Where's the real killer? Well, hiding out in the toilet, of course. Duane picks it up and holds the creature almost like it's his baby or something, and apologizes for deserting him for a girl. After such a rough day, Duane needs a drink, so he heads to the bar where Casey's hanging out. They get to talking, and at this point they're both pretty plastered. Casey can't hold it in anymore. She wants to know what's in the basket, and Duane doesn't lie.
My brother. Your brother!
Oh, so it's his brother. That makes a lot of sense. What? How is this thing his brother? Well, it turns out that they were actually Siamese twins that killed their mother during childbirth. The father absolutely hates the deformed twin, and he hides his sons from the world, with only their aunt having the kindness to raise them properly. When Duane is just a little bit older, they have the technology to separate the brothers, but no doctor will do it. That is until the father meets Dr. Lifflander, Dr. Needleman, and Dr. Cutter. Lifflander was the doctor killed in the beginning, and Cutter's still out there somewhere. So basically, the brothers are hunting down the doctors who separated them. Obviously, the surgery was a success, and Duane can now live a normal life. But he doesn't want to. He never wanted to be separated in the first place. In the middle of the night, he's woken up by his brother psychically talking to him, and Duane ends up finding him in a trash bag, left out like he's garbage. He saves him. They team up together to kill their father in a Home Alone-esque booby trap. And now they're reunited once again. Not attached at the hip, but still brothers. Casey's a little freaked out by his story, but nonetheless she helps him into bed, where he quickly passes out. She goes in for a sneak peek at the monster, whose name is Belial, by the way. When she opens the lid, it's nothing. She goes back to her apartment and gets ready for bed. I really like that smiley face clock she has, and her shirt's smiley face too. This lady really likes her smiley faces. Belial gropes her, and she freaks out, as anyone would. Everyone wakes up and goes to see what all the commotion was about. When they look inside, nothing. He's a sneaky little guy, isn't he? In the morning, Duane and Belial head to the appropriately named Dr. Cutter's office, and she turns out to be a vet. Not even a normal doctor would do the surgery. They get in to see the doc, and she figures it all out pretty quickly. But she's a tough old bird and not going to take any of his crap. That all changes when she takes a look inside the basket. Everything here is real over the top and wild. Back at the hotel, Sharon swings by all upset with Needleman's death. So, what do? Make out. Sure, why not? Well, Weil doesn't like this one bit, and he throws a fit. What a cockblock! This is the final straw for Duane, who's had enough of his brother's crap. He wraps up Sharon in a blanket and literally throws her out. The brothers fight back and forth a bit, but in the end, Duane knows he can't have a normal life. And a relationship with a girl would just never work out. Now, things get pretty weird, as if they weren't weird already. Duane's running around naked. No, he's not trying out for Blink-182, he's actually just dreaming. You think that he's running to Sharon's apartment in his dream, but nope. Remember that psychic connection the brothers share? Duane wasn't dreaming he was at Sharon's. He was seeing it through Belial's eyes. And the monster, well, let's just say he ends up killing her. Duane sees what his brother did, and he's pretty pissed off, throwing the basket around like a madman, once again waking everyone up who sees the fight. Ooh, ouch. They end up both falling out a window, dangling from the hotel sign for a minute. Then they fall to their deaths, dying together, just like they were born. And that was Basket Case. A real basket case of a movie, if you ask me. It was pretty wild, and for such a small budget, they were able to pull off an entertaining movie. They did a really good job capturing what it was like to live in New York City in the 80s. I think, what do I know? I was born in 1987, I wasn't there. But you always see buildings that are run down with the paint chipping. Just look at where Needleman works. Not what you would expect for a doctor's office, is it? Let's talk about the monster for a bit. Once you know it's supposed to be a Siamese twin, the look of him actually kinda sorta makes sense. I'm not sure how he would have gotten around on his own without legs, especially through New York City to get to Sharon's apartment unnoticed, but just forget about that detail for a moment. For coming up with a storyline based solely on the name Basket Case, I think they did a great job. And I like the idea of having brothers team up to kill the doctors that separated them. Sure, the effects are lacking, the acting is way over the top, but it's a fun movie for sure. I give Basket Case 3 smiley face clocks out of 4.
He looks like a squashed octopus.